What if I told you that your deepest pain, the agony you try to hide, suppress, or deny, isn't just yours to bear, but something others may feed on? What if one of the most brilliant yet controversial philosophers in history tried to warn you about it centuries ago? Arthur Schopenhauer, the German pessimist, didn't just describe life as suffering. He went further. He warned of a darker truth, that in a world ruled by desire and competition, men often become fuel for the emotional survival of others, especially women. This isn't about hate. This isn't about blame. This is about truth. A truth most men today are too afraid to face. You're going to learn how your pain can become currency, how your struggle, your weakness, your silence in suffering can become a playground of advantage for others, whether consciously or unconsciously. This is Schopenhauer's warning, and today it's more relevant than ever. Number 1. Schopenhauer's core belief. Life is suffering. Arthur Schopenhauer believed that life is, at its core, an endless cycle of suffering. Why? Because desire, the engine of existence, can never be satisfied. The moment you achieve one goal, another emerges. You are trapped in this eternal chase, and suffering is the consequence. But here's what he noticed. Not everyone suffers the same way. Men often suffer quietly, stoically, inwardly. They internalize their burdens, wear masks, and endure in silence. But women, Schopenhauer argued, have learned, whether by evolution or social design, to observe suffering not with pity, but with calculation. In a world where survival depends on attraction, security, and resourcefulness, a man's pain becomes a signal of weakness or opportunity. Number 2. Women thrive in pain, exploring the idea. Before we dive deeper, let's be clear. This isn't about demonizing women. It's about understanding dynamics. It's about awareness. Schopenhauer observed that women were deeply pragmatic. He believed they possessed a heightened instinct for self-preservation and comfort. So what happens when a man reveals pain? Some women may empathize, but others, especially those driven by subconscious evolutionary impulses, may interpret it as a loss of value, a loss of dominance, or worse, as a tool to be used. In a world where power is shifting, where emotional manipulation is currency, a man's vulnerability can be weaponized. Your trauma becomes her narrative. Your silence becomes her stage. And in that exchange, you shrink while she shines. Pain becomes a ladder, and some climb higher on your back. Number 3, modern proof. Social media, toxic relationships, and the algorithm. Look around you. TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, they reward drama, victimhood, and betrayal. Notice how stories of female empowerment often include a broken man, a cheating partner, or an emotionally unavailable husband. It's not a coincidence. The algorithm feeds off emotional extremes, and your pain, it trends. Your silence, it gives birth to her monologue. Women, in many cases, are not just surviving your pain, they're monetizing it. They're building followings, securing sympathy, and positioning themselves as heroes in a story where you were the broken chapter. Schopenhauer saw this before there were screens, before there were podcasts. He saw the psychological battlefield, and today you're standing in it. Number 4, the reality of power, women's biological edge. Schopenhauer didn't just study psychology, he studied nature. He saw that women, being the gatekeepers of reproduction, wield a silent power. They don't need to fight physically, they fight with selection, with language, with the ability to read emotional landscapes. In every society, women have adapted to survive by reading the pain in men's eyes and deciding, is this man worth investing in or exploiting? And while modern culture teaches us to suppress this reality in favor of equality slogans, Deep down, instincts still operate. Women thrive where men falter because they have to and because they can. Number 5, the danger of emotional dependency. Here's the real trap. When men seek validation through women, they become vulnerable to exploitation. When you place your worth in her hands, she controls your peace. When your happiness depends on her approval, your suffering becomes predictable. And predictable suffering, that's the easiest to manipulate. Schopenhauer saw that love, when unexamined, becomes enslavement. That women, even without cruelty, will respond to your dependency not with compassion, but with disdain, not because they're evil, but because weakness repels, because confidence and emotional sovereignty are the currencies of respect. Number 6, the male redemption, stoicism, and inner fortress. So what's the answer? Schopenhauer offered no false hope, but he hinted at resilience. And here's where you reclaim your power, by turning inward, by embracing the Stoic path. Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, Epictetus, these men, like Schopenhauer, knew the battlefield was internal. They knew that peace isn't given, it's built. Build yours. Don't give your emotions freely. Don't make your pain public unless you've healed it. Learn to observe yourself. Learn to sit with discomfort without needing a savior. Because the moment you master your pain, it stops being fuel for anyone else. It becomes your fire, your transformation. Number 7, closing message. Pain as a teacher, not a trap. Your pain is real, but it's not weakness. It's not failure. It's a signal, a warning, not just of danger, but of potential. If Schopenhauer were here today, he'd tell you this: do not become prey in your own suffering. Become a philosopher in your pain. Study it, master it, rise above it. Because when you do, the world can no longer use it against you. Not society, not the algorithm, not even those closest to you. You become untouchable, not because you're numb, but because you're aware. And in that awareness, you become something rare, a man who sees, feels, and cannot be broken. If this message hit something inside you, share it. Let another man hear this warning. Let Schopenhauer's voice echo through time into the soul of a generation drowning in emotional chaos. And if you're ready to turn your pain into power, subscribe, follow, and walk the Stoic path with us. This isn't about bitterness, it's about awakening. Choose truth, choose strength, and remember, your pain is not her stage, it's your sword. Wield it wisely.